And now back to Matthew Hatfield and the evil basketball coach. Blast you, Ed Young!
All right, we're back here on CoVA Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Matt Hatfield here with you. Coach Ed Young will be rejoining me in just a moment. We have the founder of the Glory Days 4-on-4 Incorporated. You now see it on our screen. In fact, there it is, the 4-on-4 flag football tournament coming up at McReynolds Athletic Complex, 412 Sportsway in Yorktown. They've got divisions and ages 17U, 15U, boys and girls, 12U, 10U, 8U, high school ages 16 to 18 too. If you want to register, the place to go is glorydays4on4.org. Oh yeah, get that QR code out and scan that too. We had Michael Kadire on last week about the All-Tidewater Baseball Classic. The former Twins Hall of Famer folks were pulling out their phones doing the scanning thing, which I know Ed has not even figured out how to do that with his phone, but we say hello to our good friend, the former NFL defensive back out of Menchville High School in Newport News. He started at Penn State, David Macklin. David, thank you for joining us. Where are you today? You in the dirty South? Where are you at today?
I am. First of all, thank you, Matt and Ed, for having me on, man. Blessings to you and love all the way down to the up to the 757. I'm here in Alabama at Opelika High School for a youth camp this morning. One of my good friends who was a strength coach at Auburn University and also Southern Mississippi has invited me out. And we just wanted to be a blessing to these young people and out here having a good time.
Awesome. Well, I know last year we had you in studio on our radio show before we went podcast mode alongside your good pal in 757 great, James Boyd, who started Indian River, Penn State as well. And we talked about this in its infancy, the Glory Days 4-on-4 flag football tournament. For those that are unfamiliar with it, they've heard flag football. I know others have done initiatives in the past. We even had on years ago Kenny Easley, who was a star in the NFL, Seattle Seahawks. He was the enforcer at safety, UCLA Oscar Smith fame. And these have taken off before. There's a lot of different reasons why it have, but fill the audience in about it, how it's come about, and what they're going to get from it.
Well, first of all, Glory Days 4-on-4 is very near and dear to my heart. I founded it in 2013, and obviously COVID happened, but we've picked back up after COVID and just coming back from our Memorial Day weekend tournament in Roswell, New Mexico, where we had 109 teams. We had two big divisions of men teams, a women's team, a women's division. We had 7U, 9U, 11U, 15U, and then we also had our high school division, which is our most competitive division that we're super excited about bringing it to Virginia as well. But 4-on-4 is, obviously is outside of the realm of 7-on-7, shorter field, 25-yard width, 50 yards long, and it's fast. It's you get more touches on the ball in a shorter period of time. I liken it to one-on-ones in practice. I really, try to encourage coaches to bring their kids out to just see the competitive nature of 4-on-4 because guys and kids get an opportunity, guys and girls get a chance to touch, get more catches, get more throws, get more opportunities to see the ball being played in the air. So it's a lot of things I love about it, especially, playing corner in the NFL.
Did you think when you played before, let Ed jump in here with you, David, did you think when you retired from professional football, and we see it scrolling across our ticker, Colts drafted you, Arizona Cardinals, my guys I root for, you scored your only NFL TD 60-yard pick with them, the Rams, the Chiefs, all these great things you achieved at Penn State and at Menchville High School, that you would get involved like this? And just as you tell me about that, also speak to the importance of yourself and so many others from the 757 giving back to the community, doing things for kids and others, because at some point it has to enter your brain like I was once in their shoes, right?
Absolutely. And my goal is to just try to encourage, and especially what we do with Glory inside our organization, with the teams like the enthusiastic, the overcomers, the thinkers. We want young people to understand that being a professional athlete, that's a great thing to aspire, whatever sport that is. But that's not the main and all, the be all. We want them to strive to be great people. That's number one. And we want them to look at other opportunities as well, aspire to be different they aspire to be different outside of just being an athlete, whether it's being a doctor, lawyer, teacher, social media influencer. We just want them to be well-rounded, to know that sports is a great opportunity outside of baseball and golf. It is an opportunity. It is not a career. And it's one of those things to where you're year to year. And if you're able to make it, 10 years or more than that, and it's a blessing. But it's one of those things to where you can cultivate your skill set by also looking at other avenues to be around a person, because like you said, it will stop and you will move on and you will start doing great things. So we want kids to just be more well-rounded, and we want parents to understand that kids have to be kids first. They need to understand that competing is important. We want them to compete. We encourage competing, but we also encourage so many other things outside of just winning in the game of football or whatever sport. We want them to win in the game of life. So, and that's really near and dear to my heart. Any guy, any girl, high schooler that says they want to make it to the NFL or make it to the NBA, my first question to them is, do you like to compete? Because we don't want you to shy away from competition. Competing is important, but we also want them to compete with the love and a joy for not just the game, but for people and a passion for life. So I think if they can carry that with them, they'll be all right. And that comes with getting in the classroom. That comes with being a good teammate, being a good student, being a good son or daughter, being a good sister or brother, being a good person in the community, obviously a good neighbor. And all those things can carry you obviously to where you want to be. But we want to incorporate that, and we're incorporating that not only into our tournaments, but into our youth leagues, which we're working on now, 6 to 12-year-old development stages of kind of what we want to do, and get kids to understand that, we're pushing life inside of the sport, so to say. And then obviously we want them to go off and be great people.
We're talking with the former All Big Ten performer at Penn State who started at Menchville High School in Newport News, David Macklin. He's the founder of Glory Days 4-on-4 Incorporated, the 4-on-4 flag football tournament coming to Yorktown on June the 22nd, a week from today. Go to glorydays4on4.org for more. Scan the code, sign up. It should be a fun time out there. David, who played several seasons in the NFL with many different teams, our guest here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk on CoVA Sports TV. Ed.
Hey, David, great to have you on. What you're doing is tremendous. I enjoy listening to some of the things you would like to do, near and dear to my heart in terms of helping these kids out. But I'm going to take you back to your kiddie days. Now, if I'm not mistaken, did you play basketball in Menchville?
I did. Yes, sir, I did. I came through Boo Williams and got a chance to play against AI and a lot of.
Okay, and the reason I thought, David, I remember that because I think I coached against you. And you're one of those guys that scored a shot and came down the sideline and looked at me and said, "Hey, coach, you got nobody out there covering me. Just letting you know that." Just letting you know that. I think it was Dave Macklin because you were
you played PG at Penn State for a little bit, didn't you too, David?
I did for a quick second. We beat Texas in the Fiesta State College. I was back in State College for practice the next day, while all of my other guys, while all of my other teammates were still in Phoenix, relaxing in the pool and all that stuff. So my first year was and then after my basketball season, that next week I was in the spring football. Joe and them say, "Hey, you got to come. You got to live." They loved me playing basketball, but I had to do it. So that first year was tough for me. So I stuck with football.
There you go.
Okay, now you leave Menchville. Now I'm a Central PA guy. I was born and raised in a little town you never heard of, Clearfield, which is not too far from State College. Okay. So you pick Penn State. Now I'm a Notre Dame guy, but Penn State is right behind him for me. Happy Valley, University Park. See, a lot of people don't call it State College. They call it University Park, but it's State College. Why did you pick Penn State? And if it wasn't Penn State, who probably would have had your services?
Great question. For me, it was Penn State from the get-go. My dad was he was going there for a few years, helping out in the summer camps. I went up there my first year, and they offered me on the spot my sophomore year. And I fell in love with the university, obviously the coaching staff. It's a little different today in 2024. These kids are going everywhere. They're soaking it all up. They're getting all the the photo ops, they're getting all the, the treatment. But if outside of Penn State, my next choice was Tennessee. Then after that was Michigan. So I did get an offer. I was probably after Michigan, it would have been University of Washington, but that was way on the other side of the country for me. So I was, after my sophomore year, they offered me at the camp. I believe I ran like a 4.3, but I really had like a really good camp. Competed. Obviously, I was running ball. I was a running back. So Fran Ganner wanted me for running back, and then Greg Schiano wanted me for corner. Greg is over at I think at Rutgers now, but And then when I got to Penn State, Greg had went on, and I don't know what school he went to. I forgot. I think it might have been Miami. I'm not sure where he went, but yeah, those two were kind of fighting over me.
Well, again, and it's interesting because people don't know Penn State, University Park, State College, PA, small town, but boy, that football program runs the state. Very much like probably Tech in Virginia here in Virginia, fight it out. There's nobody competing with Penn State in the state of Pennsylvania for football. It's a religion. It's 100,000 people.
Hold on, Ed. You said like Tech in Virginia. David's going to sit there and say, hold on. We way better than Tech in Virginia in his eyes. That might be.
I'm saying in Virginia, Virginia, it's UVA, Virginia Tech. Pick one running the state in football.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to make all the JMU guys mad.
And ODU and all the schools, exactly.
In Pennsylvania, is no debate. It's Penn State, period. And you played under the great Joe Paterno, who I thought was just done an injustice to all that crap that happened after him, that he had nothing to do with that situation, which was horrible. But
Ed, Virginia Tech has created a culture up there too, man. I catch off Frank Beamer and just that university and those athletes that have come through there from the 757. I tell people all the time, man, if we could keep all the athletes in Virginia, the James Boyds of the world, the Plexicos of the world, the Dre Bly's of the world, the Ronald Currys, obviously they got a couple of our athletes, but man, we would have UVA or Virginia Tech, man, we would have probably caused a little bit more noise.
Yeah, I agree 100% with you on that one. If you keep all those athletes in there, wow, I would say top 10 easy every year, major bowl easy every year. Now,
similar to how Florida State and Florida used to be.
Yeah. Right. And Miami used to have some say in Florida for the longest of time, and was a pain in the butt with Penn State, especially in bowl games. Penn State with Miami, when they went at it in some of the bowl games, those were great games. When you played, David, who did you get up for the most, or who brought out the most in terms of rivalry for you when you played at Penn State?
Ohio State, that was always a big one for us. I'm going to go against, David Boston and Dee Miller and, obviously Michigan with, Tuma over there and Tom, he was at the time, and, he was coming up, young guy. Then we had got a chance to go against Jaquez over in Florida. Him and I went head to head in the Citrus Bowl. But it's just so many battles. Todd Peakston and Sherrod Gillian over at Southern Miss. Those guys, we played them the first game, and everybody was out there. They were like, "Hey, this is gonna be a easy breezy." I was coming in as All-American corner. I said, "Look, y'all got it easy today. I got two NFL, talented receivers that we got to guard. Me and Anthony King this week, our first game of the year. We ended up beating them pretty bad, but we were out there pressed on them the whole game. But Todd Pinkston, Sherrod Gideon, they both went high in the draft, so those guys were good receivers. So we couldn't take a day off, but." Just so many memories, man, of just playing some, and then going against Plexico at Michigan State. Plex and I kept in touch when he was in JUCO, and I said, man, all you need is 1 year, man. And I really spoke that, and I know he remembers those conversations. When I was in my dorm, he was in his dorm, and he went to Michigan State, man, 1 year, just, went first round. But yeah, we've had, as far as battles, man, coming through the Big Ten, we've had a lot of guys come through, man, and a lot of great stories. Great athletes. If you ask me that on a pro side, man, I would say, Santana Man and Lavernius Coles, and obviously, you get Randy, you get going in practice, for 4 years against, Marvin, and then obviously Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison. You're seeing Marvin's son get drafted first with the Cardinals this year. He was a baby when we were playing together in Indy. But man, just so many memories, man. And it was fun. It was fun. I could say it was exciting. I tell kids all the time, the pro level was the most exciting for me because you're playing against a good guy every week. You got to be more on your craft, and your competition level is higher. So you get no days off. So that was fun for me.
No, and to follow up on that too, you get burned enough in the pros. There's somebody else behind you, take your spot. You be out looking for a job quick. Sometimes in college they can go with you a little longer. High school definitely go with you longer. But in the pros where it's a business, oh yeah, you be out looking for another opportunity.
Well, I tell kids all the time. I say one day they love you. In order to play out on that island, you got to have a quick memory, and you got to take care of your business. That's one thing I like about Tony, playing for him, doing what you do, take care of your job, and everything else will take care of itself. So that was how I was able to push through. I would think that my pedigree coming from the 757 is different. I love to compete. I grew up competing. That's always going to be embedded in me. That's what Glory Days 4-on-4 is about. We've even reached out, Boys and Girls Club, Mr. Rod Coleman. We're going to we're working to get a bunch of kids out there next Saturday, and obviously we reached out to YMCA. But we just want kids to come out and have a good time and compete. We got possibly some women teams that are going to come out, and some men's teams are going to come out and play. So on the competitive side, that's always going to be there, and that's what this tournament is all about. Outside of having a good time, is competing. Leading up to the tournament, Wednesday we have a Rising Senior Fun Days. So we call it Summer Days in VA for a reason. We're going to be playing sand volleyball in Yorktown with Deshaun Wright, who's the owner of Body by D in Yorktown. He's going to come out and talk about nutrition and being an entrepreneur and a business owner, a successful entrepreneur out in the community in Yorktown. And then Thursday we'll be at Topgolf with Lansdowne with their football team for a couple of hours, and with REPO, RPEO, Real People Educating Others. They're going to give the rising seniors some information going into the real world, obviously out after football, after high school, if they're not playing on the collegiate level. And then Friday we're going to have laser tag with Woodside. And then we got Daniel Carrera with Youth Bill, Volunteers of America is going to be there, and just talking about what they do at Youth Bill with teenagers, really getting in the mix, getting them jobs after high school, and just really getting into the workforce. Then Saturday, obviously, is our tournament. So me coming back home is not just about coming back and just doing something, but we really want to pour into these young people as best as we can, and for them to have a good time. So that's kind of our theme behind Summer Days in VA.
That's so awesome. David Macklin here, a couple minutes left with him here out of Menchville High School in Newport News, who started at Penn State, also played in the National Football League, the Glory Days 4-on-4 flag football tournament. You heard all the festivities coming up this week, and if you want to get involved, go to glorydays4on4.org, scan the code. They've got all kinds of ages divisions for boys and girls with it. For you, David, this is something you're doing in how many states?
We have 2 more other states coming up. We'll be in Wisconsin. We're going to be here in Atlanta. I'm in Alabama right now, Opelika High School. But we're going to be in Atlanta during the tournament. But our goal is to push to have 12 tournaments next year in different states. That's our goal. So we're working on it. We can't do this without our partners and sponsors, people like yourself helping us get the word out, just finding ways to be better, really critiquing critiquing our craft, but also, working on it, building it. At the same time, we love what we do. We have a 40-yard dash challenge that we do with all of our tournaments. Our winners get 2 free tickets to any team that I play for, whether it's the Colts, whether it's the Cardinals, the Chiefs, Washington, or the Chiefs. They get to pick one game this coming up year. Last Memorial Day.
They won the 44. That's if they win the 40-yard dash?
Yes, we had a gentleman Memorial Day weekend that ran a 4.29. He ran track in high school in New Mexico, and I think he selected the Cowboys and Redskins game this year, so he'll have 2 free tickets for that. But we just try to get creative while we love up on people and push them to.
Awesome. That's
hey,
awesome.
Dave, be careful, because I know what this crazy dude, my partner's thinking. Could I run the 40?
I saw his
face. Yeah, look, you guys read me too well.
He wants to get those Cardinal tickets. That's why he wore the hat. He wants the Cardinal tickets.
I saw him lean up into the screen when he said, "Wait, y'all doing a 40?" All right, now, man. Hey, look,
David,
I got to find me a kid out there. Listen, any of you kids that are watching on IG, and we got over 200 something kids watching. You want tickets? All I ask is that you take your Uncle Hatfield to the game with you.
Hey, it's gonna be some young gunners out there, man. So you be careful.
I know.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a 40-yard dash for him. It'd be a 40-yard marathon.
Oh, it would be.
It'd be a marathon for him.
It'd be rough. Awesome. You got any more before we let Dave run here, Ed? Go ahead.
No, well, Dave,
both of y'all are welcome to come run.
It won't be pretty if we run.
I'll tell you what, I'll go ahead and stretch for an hour and a half to get ready to run, and then it'll be over by then, because my running days are over. I would beat Hatfield in the race. That I would know.
Maybe.
David, you already mentioned it real quick, and again, you're doing a tremendous job with this. It's going to take flight. You're going to be, I think you'll be more in 12 states. As long as that sponsorship keeps coming, because we know to do things like this, money has to come about. People have to understand what you're doing and bring it. So I got to believe you're going to be doing more in 12 states, because it's too good. I like the idea of 4-on-4, because everybody's processing the idea of 7-on-7. And even though the old timers are saying, wait a minute, football's 11-on-11. Now we're 7-on-7. Wait a minute, this dude's coming in with 4-on-4. What are we going to do next? 1-on-1 football like basketball? But your concept, the idea was more touches, and it's faster, and you still highlight the skills of those young kids.
Absolutely, Ed, and I appreciate you understanding that. And my goal with the high school coaches is I'm telling them, hey, look, we're not trying to take away from the 7-on-7. We understand that that's the time that you got to implement your plays, get young kids to understand, the system, get them in the system. But I've been to these tournaments in Vegas, and I've been to them just looking as a spectator, and I've seen 30 and 40 kids on the sideline. And I remember going when Dungy and them came in my 3rd year in Indianapolis. They challenged me. They wanted me to be better. Obviously, they didn't become great coaches by allowing players to stay the same. So we got rated on 1-on-1s. We got rated competition, competing for your job. We got rated on how we pressed, how we bailed, how we played off, how we reacted on a look route, coming downhill, making a play, seeing the 3-step, seeing the 5-step. Really on those 1-on-1s, I got a lot better. I became a better player. I became a playmaker, more of a playmaker than I was. I like to assimilate that to the 4-on-4 style. No, it's not 1-on-1s, because 1-on-1s is more, obviously it's more focused, but it's a time for kids to have a little bit more leeway, because coaches don't have to regulate the team. They can pick their own teams as long as it's 7 players, 4-on-4 on the field at a time. They just need a parent or a coach to register their team, but they get to create their teams. They get to have a little bit more fun. Now, the caveat to that is, you get one-on-one, you get more one-on-one moments. You get times where kids can see the ball. Coaches are complaining about kids are not seeing the ball. They're not playing the ball in the air. Well, they got to see those moments more. They got to see the receivers got to catch more passes. The quarterbacks got to throw more balls. Running backs got to come out the field. DBs got to be able to get their head turned around. So you get one hiker to the quarterback, and then he gets to go out, a lot of them do little short intermediate routes, and your 2 outside guys, they kind of run whatever kind of routes they want, and everybody gets more work. That ball has to come out quicker. And then, you get one rush every 3 downs. So you get every 3 downs, half field, and then the next 3 downs, you got to score. So the game is fast. And when that rusher comes, those rushers got to be athletes, because you just can't fly in there and just come out of control. You got to be able to come in there under control and be able to, get the flag. But it obviously helps with those skill sets transitioning over to the field. Now, your guy who's rushing, if he's coming in out of control, that quarterback has the opportunity to run. You're leaving your guys who's covering, you're leaving them out to dry. So there's a lot of components in the 4-on-4, man, that I really like. And you get guys go to these 7-on-7 tournaments, they don't touch the ball. or they're not competing. They're traveling. So I'm looking at a way to say, hey, look, how can I get these kids to compete with me? Because that's what it's all about. We want young guys. Yeah, sure, it's good for a kid to understand your system, but if he doesn't know how to cover or he doesn't know how to catch the ball, he's not going to help your team. If the quarterback isn't getting the throws out that he needs, he's not going to help your team. So that's where I'm at with it, man. And I'm working to try to get high school coaches to buy into what we're doing. We got some coaches say, I don't want to get kids hurt. Hey, I didn't get to where I'm at from a no. A no doesn't scare me. So we're going to come. God willing, we're going to come every year. This is our second annual. We're going to come back to Virginia, and we want to see more teams, Lord willing. So, if it's coaches out there looking, get in touch with us. We're at glorydays4on4.org. You can call us at 833-456-3297. Our lines are open. We want to see you all come out there, and we all want you to understand and see kind of what we're talking about with our 4-on-4 uproar.
It's awesome. You see it on the screen there, the Glory Days 4-on-4 flag football tournament coming up in Yorktown next week, June the 22nd. Before I let you run, Dave, we thank you so much for the time. We could talk to you all day long, and I'm sure we'll get you back on the show again here. I just want to get your quick thought on the state of football today. You hail from the Big Ten and Penn State, where now the league is up to 18 schools with USC and UCLA from the West Coast, and I'm sure the evolution of the NFL with passing is even more than when you were playing, and it was certainly going in that direction now. Any DBs you enjoy watching, and what's your feeling on the state of both pro football, college football today? Who you enjoy watching? What do you think of it right now?
Good question. We have a alumni weekend this weekend up at Penn State. Guys are golfing. I think today they got a football camp and all that good stuff. It's wild. It's wild. I can't even say West now. It's Big Ten it's just it's open, man. It's a national conference now. Michigan has been very consistent. Ohio State has been very consistent. Penn State has been consistent. We just gotta, our goal is the top now. We want to be able to compete on the high level. And I believe we have on our schedule the next couple of years some early games, which I like to see. I like to see those early games. Excuse the noise. We got a camp going on here, but I like to see us play against top ranked teams early on. And you've seen Alabama, you've seen Florida State, you've seen teams, you've seen colleges lose their first game, but then obviously be able to play still in the championship. They went out. So I think at Penn State we just needed to give ourselves a chance to be in the conversation with a little bit more, meaningful games and not as many not ranked teams. Not saying that some of those teams don't need to play big schools, but we need to have less on those in order to get to that level. Because at the end of the day, nobody cares if you're 7 or 8-0, and then you get into your conference play and you're not winning. So I think we've at Penn State have done a better job in that aspect. As far as defensive play, our coaches over at Penn State have done a great job with the corners and the safeties that have come out. We did have a young guy, I think, went a little later than we expected this year. Michigan has some good secondary. They always keep a good secondary over there. But it's as far as you finding good secondary play, it's everywhere now, man. It's sporadic. You just don't know because these guys are moving all around all the time. So you might have a good core over in UCLA, and then you might break them up, and some of them might go over to the Big Ten, next year. Some of them may go down to the ACC. But I know Oregon has had a couple of good secondary players. Texas has as well. But it's going to be interesting, man. This college game is wide open now, so it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, it really is. And quickly let you go. Best NFL DB enjoy watching. I mean, you got a lot to choose from Sauce Gardner to the Jets to Jalen Ramsey with the Dolphins, maybe a couple of Penn State guys. I mean, it's a lot harder, it feels like, to challenge his receivers. But as you brought up, I mean, you had to deal with guys like Randy Moss and the Lavernius Coles of the world that were really, really tough every week. So it's not totally different, although it seems like the running backs are not as big a premium on them as it used to be when you were first starting out in the league.
Well, you got guys like Jamar Chase, and you got obviously you got Metcalf over in Seattle, which is more our style of kind of receiver. You don't see a lot of shout out to Troy Waters, who played with me in Indianapolis for 4 years. He's Jamar Chase's coach, receiver coach over at Cincinnati. But you don't see a lot of receivers getting touched anymore. We had a lot of more physicality with guys like Ty Law and, like you said, Revis, and we were able, myself, and, we were able to hit guys a little earlier. Guys are running a lot more free. You got the kid over at Dallas. You can help me out with that 88 Lamb, CD Lamb. I mean, I rarely see him getting his, our whole thing, obviously, when I was playing, especially in Indianapolis, was, getting a guy rerouted. If guys aren't getting rerouted off the line, if guys are just running free, they're coming up on your safeties quick, and you're not helping your safeties out. That's in the eyes of Coach Dungy and guys like Tom, I'm sure Mike Tomlin, that's playing selfish. In order to be a great corner, it's not just about covering, obviously getting in the box and being active within the tackling realm, but even in coverage, even if you're in a zone coverage, making sure that you're taking care of your responsibility. And one of your responsibilities as a corner is to slow the receiver down. These guys getting up quick on you, that's not helping your defense, and that's not helping your safeties. And then when you go back into the meeting room, when you go back to the huddle, your safety's looking like, man, these guys are coming up on me quick. And it's hard as a safety. It's hard to have guys coming at you running 4-3s, 4-4s, 4-5s, 4-6s, and not getting a hand on you. That can't happen. That can't happen in the NFL. You see into some of that, but then you got guys that's still there, like Mike Tomlin and Belichick. Those guys were still there. He's not there anymore, but they really believed in getting those guys rerouted. So I hope some of that comes back, because me as a corner watching today's game, I don't like to see receivers running free. You got to work. That's what you're getting paid the big dollars for is to get rerouted. And I tell you, Kansas City has done a good job over that. They've had corners that have come in, have stepped in, and really defensive coordinator over there. I don't want to mess his name up.
Spagnuolo, yeah, Spags is a great
Spags, man. He's old school, man, but he understands that you can't play defense without having the physicality. Even though with
the Giants, remember? They were the Giants, yeah.
Oh yeah. Even though the NFL is trying to take a lot of that away, They found a niche on how to still keep the physicality in it. So,
well, hey, going out there, we could talk with you all day. I'm sure we'll get you back on the program before the year's done, and Ed will reminisce with you about playing for the greats like Joe Paterno and Tony Dungy and others. It's the 4-on-4 flag football tournament. Glory Day presents Summer Days in Virginia. It's at the McReynolds Athletic Complex in Yorktown. All ages available. You see it on the screen there from 8U up to 17U. High school kids too. GloryDays4on4.org. I'm going to be recruiting my all-star team for the 40-yard dash, David. Enjoy. It should be fun out there next week, and we look forward to catching up with you. All the best, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, and I appreciate you guys. I got some Glory Days gear for you when I come in town. I'm gonna come by, stop by, see you all, and I'm gonna just make the proclamation right now, Ed, from your lips to my ears, man. I receive everything you said as far as this thing going to where it's got to go. And we are a nonprofit 501c3. Any support out there, it is a write-off. And we got a team for you all. If you guys put a team together, whether it's a youth league or a high school league, we'll get you a code and you guys can register before Monday or Tuesday. Let us know, and we'll shoot them in there.
We'll give away some of that gear on the show, too. We'll have you in our studios at the Plex in Virginia Beach, too. David, all the best to you. Thanks for coming on. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you again.
All right. You all have a blessed day. Thank you.
Continued success to you, David. Thanks, David.
All right. Thank you, Ed.
That is the one and only David Macklin, former NFL defensive back who starred at Menchville High School in Newport News before becoming an all-Big Ten performer at Penn State. Played some basketball there, too, as you heard Ed talk about with him from his days. It's the Glory Days 4-on-4 flag football tournament coming up. Great insight from him talking about the days of when he played to now and what he's doing with this 4-on-4 flag football tournament, which is an outside-the-box concept that it's different, like you said, from 11-on-11, 7-on-7 we see with high school kids nowadays, but it's pretty cool and neat. And it is growing and evolving before our eyes.
Yeah, the 4-on-4, a good concept.